predictable situations or predictable circumstances. However, many of us think that learning will only come through books. Many of us think that learning will only come through watching videos or maybe listening to anybody. But the truth is, sometimes learning can come from the worst experiences you have had as a human being. Just from yourself. I was in Genesis 2. Something funny may happen while I was growing up. Okay, for starters, I like to talk too much. As a matter of fact, talking was important for me while I was growing up. You know, back then in secondary school, they used to write some class in class. And there are some people that will talk and they'll write like times 5 or times 10. Yes. And then everybody feel like deaf and dumb. My own little bit times 1,000. Oh. No jokes. Because I don't care how you I will talk on them. I think times 2,000, times 3,000. But something happened one day, I was preparing to come to school and I broke a plate in the kitchen. And you know that Nigerian parents don't joke with their plates.
Of course. I don't.
If you break plates in a Nigerian home, in my house, you use that plate to eat. Yes.
Wow.
So I broke a plate and my mom spanked me so much, it fitted out and said, you don't always concentrate. Get out. So when I got to school, I was very angry. I was not even talking to anybody. I just went straight to my desk because I used to be a backbencher. So I just dressed my head on my desk, angry, not talking to anybody. And there was this free period in class, free period. And then one of my English teacher, I will not call her name. I hate her so much. She hates me too. We hate each other. So she came to the class. Anytime she comes to the class, the first thing she says is, all of you are pigs. And she told one of my classmates, write this does not get that for me. Then my classmates, you have to write the list. When the period was over, she came to the class. And she said, where is my list? Please. And so they gave her the list. And she said, you precious. Times 5. 5 for the pay. Times 10. What are you, buddy? And then she began to look at the list very funny.
Like,
What is there? This is not complete. Telling you, no. She said, why is that Isiwu? I trust me, this was the first time my classmates were defending me. I got to do that soon. They were saying, man, okay, no man, like, seriously now, like, this guy has not spoken the word today. He has just been resting his head at the back. And we can confirm. Then you know, I think that come on, you know, we get each other. Say that. That is here cannot be Israel and we will not talk. Then he was talking, and you people did not see me. Yes, you stand up. I said, okay, I'm not. What kind of people? What kind of case is it? My case was worse than sometimes my teachers spoke in advance. Like I can be going to buy stuff from the canteen during break, and she just see me say, "You come. I know you stop my class. Let me come in now." It was very great. My classmates like to shut up. But listen, in 2017, I time when I began to discover myself, I now started to pay attention to that problem that was talking. So talking was wrong with me. But just like I used to say now, that what was wrong with me is now right. People used to flog me for talking before, now they pay me.
hallelujah.
So in 2017, I was reflecting and I said, you know what? This thing that people say is a problem is actually right. How can I convert it? And that was a learning process for me. And that's when I discovered that everybody who must stand out at any given time in their life must begin to discover things about themselves. They must begin to learn any time. Learning does not end in a classroom. And like I used to say, if your learning ends during graduation, it means your leadership becomes outdated. Next slide. Now look at this. I think one is because I just said some things about the leaders are born, or so I'm not going to get into that. But like, leadership is not a title, it's a growth process. And the one thing of leadership is that leaders are born. I mean, everybody says leaders are born, but yeah, everybody, but like that's a meaning. Because every container takes the shape of the context. Every container takes what?
Shape of
If I bring an empty water bottle right now, and I put sand inside of it, it means that the purpose of this bottle now becomes a sand holder and not a water bottle. Right? If I take it over and put honey inside of it, it means that it is now a honey bottle and not a water bottle. And so that's how I discovered that everybody who must become an effective leader is not somebody who necessarily was born with leadership skills. It is somebody who changes shape, who shifts at different times in their life to take a new form of development. And that's it. Everybody was born with potential to lead, but everybody goes through the process of growth that makes them leaders. Another means is that you learn and then you lead. But I like to break the news to you that you learn while you lead. In 2014, I was invited to speak to some young people at an event. I was like this leadership. I was the leader of the teenage group with my church. All the workers were under my leadership. So I had so many people under my command. You know, eventually, as a young boy, it was puffed up. You know how many people I'm leading. And when I go to class, I was boasting. So one day I was invited to speak as usual. When I got to the stage and I finished, no jokes, everybody gave me standing ovation. People were clapping. Even parents are paying. They were hanging to the window. Everyone, wow, this young boy. You know that those kind of people in church and in school, they say, this boy will go far. And then so, yeah, I will go far. I was really puffed. But a young girl came up to me. Her name is Favor. She's currently a final year student at Abuja University. She was also a worker who I was training and mentoring. And she said, sir, you just spoke to us that leaders are people who must speak to other people with respect. They are people who must place value on others. But sir, respectfully, sir, Mr. Samuel, are you really exempt from your teaching because you are a leader? Because anytime you're angry, you shout at us. Anytime you do something wrong, you yell at us, you treat us like it don't matter. Wow. That's what I didn't give my response. I don't have to go and come back on Wednesday. I never gave my response. But I went back to think about that experience. And you know what? Even though I was in a leadership position, I discovered that leadership is not finance. Yeah. So I went back to reflect, and then I came back to resolution. Number one was that I decided that I was going to start placing value. Number two is that I was going to speak to everyone with respect. You see, even though I was already leading, I did not stop learning. Yes. That's the idea. Next slide, please. Growth happens in a process, literally. And this is a process. When you learn, you lead, you reflect, and then you relearn. And it happens again. It now becomes an infinity loop. This is the process every leader must go through. You know what I'm saying? When you relearn again, you go back and learn again. Stand leading, reflect, and relearn. So, I like to bust your bubble that in the next 50 years, 85% of the jobs that people will be doing have not been created. 85% of the jobs that people will be doing in the next 50 years have not been created. So if you put a cap on how your life is going to be in the next 50 years based upon what you are doing now, it means that you're not a developing leader. You're not a determining leader. Because when our parents were much more younger, there were 5 courses that were the most important courses every young person or child was doing. Number 1 was what?
Medicine.
Number 2?
Lawyer.
Number accounting. Engineering, 5. Banking and finance. And now, when they started giving that to children, they wanted all of their children to do the same thing. But guess what? Now, people now do AI. People now do content creation. And I used to say to my generation, we can repeat the mistakes of our parents. In the next 50 years, we might want our children to become AI engineers. I say that's what we must do. That's what the body is. Forget what? The kind of job 50 years, people will do 50 years from now, we don't know. So what is our job as leaders? Is that we must start now. Is my time up? I'm sorry. Is that we must project into the future. That's why I used to say that leaders don't conform, leaders adapt. Conforming is a negative attitude that lets you give into negative situations. But adapting is the process of shifting. How many of you watch Avatar? Or you watch one of those those movies where somebody changes into another person? That's a thing. Not that you are becoming a new person, but you are changing your form to enter into a new market to become relevant. Left line. This is my line. Okay? The one is evolving and you must evolve. I studied mechanical engineering in school, but guess what? I'm not engineering any machines. I'm currently engineering to go back to their purpose. And do you know what? Many engineers that will be jobless in the next 10 years. Because people will use electric cars. But what they taught me in school was to go under a car and remove the engine panel and start to service it and drop the gearbox. But what happens in the next 10 years when there's no gearbox to drop? We will all be jobless. So what we need to do is that our educational system needs to start teaching people how to diagnose electric cars. Come on, like leadership is beautiful because you must learn. The last thing you're learning equals leverage. I know how to do programming. I learned programming for 12 months. I know how to do video edit. Absolutely well. One time we were doing a project. The photographer wanted to film for us, So I told my team, get me the camera. And that was how we saved costs. And we had excellent pictures. Learning is leverage. Certain skills you learn now, you might not do then. They are hidden skills. They just help you become effective. Like, I think in camera now, my job is speaking and teaching. But if there is no available video editor, I can step into the situation and make my own effective. Like, it don't matter. So it means that you must make yourself ready class and learn and develop yourself outside of people. So people must not determine how relevant you feel. That's the job of leadership. Last time I think that's all. Oh my God. Last one. Alright. Your leadership will die if you're learning else. Alright. If you don't know everything, just keep. No man is an island. Ladies and gentlemen, focus on your focus until you become the focus. Okay.